Hey guys, Team Crew here, coming at you today with another deck profile. In today's deck profile, we're going to be taking a look at Shoutmon DX. So yeah, before we actually get into the deck profile, here is a message from our sponsors.
Ultimate TCG is a store that stocks everything TCG related. Whether that be Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic or Digimon, you name it, they've got it. Head over to their website and use the code TCHIT505 to get 5% off your order. Have you been looking for your new favourite playmat? Well, Cho Sugoi is the place to be. Whether it be customised playmats, memory tokens or anything else, they have everything you will need to play the game and more. Even better, when checking out, if you use our discount code TEAMCRITHIT, you can also get 5% off your order.
So yeah, let's get into the actual list. So we'll start with the babies like we always do. Now I may make some mistakes with the names because I don't think I struggled too much with red, but blue is definitely one that I've been struggling a lot with. But for our babies, we're starting off by running 3 Coromon. So you'll know this Coromon if you've ever played red before or seen a lot of red before in the past, because this is the Coromon that is run in the starter deck. So we haven't seen as much of it, but it was usually ran as a one-off. But now, because of how the deck plays and how red's playing it from now on, this one becomes more important than our Jijimon that we are also running 2 of. So we're running 3 Coromon, and Coromon has the inheritable effect of, during your turn, while this Digimon has 4 or more Digivolution cards, it gains plus 1000 DP. Now this is really nice. Power Plus is super important in this deck because Shoutmon has the ability not only to be very aggressive in how many security checks that it can do while it swings, so that plus DP really helps with survivability, but also Shoutmon DX has some really nice controlling aspects towards the deck. So having plus that 1000 DP to attack your opponent's Digimon means that you have more chance to win that battle, so that your Shoutmon doesn't die and retains on the board and keeps you really pumping out that damage and pressure for your opponent. Next up, we're running 2 Jijimon. So Jijimon has the very similar effect, but a different way to be able to get it. So it has an inheritable effect of, well, there are 5 or more cards in your opponent's trash. This Digimon gains plus 1000 DP, which is very nice. It's very similar to the Coromon, and it's nice to be able to go back and forth on these two. There is the new Coromon that came out in the set that allows you to draw, but we feel that the power is so crucial for you to be able to get because of that controlling aspect that we like this split in this list. Next up, we've got our rookies. So we're starting off with my favorite, well, one of my favorite cards in the deck, which is Shoutmon. Now, this is probably one of my favorite ones because I just love its artwork. I think the artwork of this Shoutmon is fantastic, and I love rookies with the dual ability for an on-play effect and an inheritable. I just think it's very strong for the game. So if you don't know what Shoutmon does, it's a 3 play cost rookie with a DP power of 1000, and it has the on-play effect of reveal 5 cards from the top of your deck, and you can add 1 Digimon with Shoutmon in its name and 1 Digimon with Advance from among them to your hand. You then place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Now this is really nice to be able to add the cards that you need to your hand from your deck. Really consistent, and helps exactly with that word, consistency, making sure that you can actually get your Shoutmon DX to your hand, or this Shoutmon and there's an Ultimate Shoutmon too, means that you have more chance to be able to secure your efficiency when digivolving up into your lines. And with the Ultimate Shoutmon ability, it works perfectly in tandem with this Shoutmon, which we'll take a little bit look into further. But the Shoutmon also has the inheritable effect of, if this Digimon has Advance, it gains plus 2000 DP. Now, if we're able to have our baby and a Shoutmon, we're gaining plus 3000 DP there, and that means that we're usually going to be sitting on around at least 15,000, because I believe Shoutmon is a 12,000 base, and that means that you are basically hitting against most things apart from Omnimon, but the new Omnimon as well, one of the new Omnimons in the set is 14k, so you can get around that too, which is super nice. So yeah, really nice card, and definitely one of my favorite cards in the deck. Next up, we're running Agumon. So Agumon is run for a very similar reason, but this one has no requirement on that DP power gain. So it's just a 3 play cost rookie with 2000 DP, and it has the inheritable effect of, during your turn, this Digimon gains plus 1000 DP, which is, again, very plain, very simple, but gaining that DP power allows us to be able to swing into opponent's Digimon, being able to swing into security and have more chance of surviving those battles. Now, this power gain is also very crucial in a meta right now that's going to probably be dominated by yellow. Yellow Lord Knightmon has been going rampant in Japan for this set when the set came out, so gaining this DP means that you can swing into Lord Knightmon because of Lord Knightmon's effect, meaning that it's going to be more than its base, gaining power from each rear guard that it has. Gaining that power, meaning that you can swing into that Lord Knightmon, means that you can remove it and not have to worry so much about finding a different way to actually get around it. Next up, we're running 2 Biyomon. So this Biyomon, it states BT2. I'm thinking, I can't remember if this, I think this came out in 1.5, but I'm not 100% sure. So most importantly, it's a 3 play cost rookie with 2000 DP, and it has the on deletion effect of, if it's your turn, you gain 1 memory. So this is very simple, just gaining memory gain, and that's kind of what I love about Red. It's very simple, it is what it says on the page, and just gaining 1 memory is a really nice effect from a rookie. Being able to check a security or swing into another rookie in trade is super duper nice, gaining that memory and allowing you to have that memory so that you can further your plays. Next up, we have Monodramon. So this is the last of our rookies, and it's the same that we run in pretty much all of our lists at this point now. We love to run at least 4 of the 2 cost rookies, and definitely in this BT5 format where there's a lot of removal, there's just a lot of ways to get around your stuff. So Monodramon comes in very clutch at times, being able to have that 2 play cost rookie and then going into a champion and then possibly an ultimate on top of that then is super nice. But also it means that you can play a blocker on your turn, because we are running the one Digivolve cost blockers now, and that would not end your turn. So if you're in a very tough situation where you need 2 blockers out, you can summon a Monodramon, play a Monodramon, sorry, Digivolve into a blocker and then hard play another blocker, and that could really help you swing around the game or survive a really killer turn from your opponent and be able to bounce back and punish them. So next up, let's take a look at our champions. We are running 4 of the Greymon from the starter deck. So this is the 5 play cost Greymon with a Digivolve cost of 2. It has 4000 DP, which is a little bit on the low side. And again, I've talked about that Lord Knightmon. Watch out for hard playing this Greymon, because they have a lot of ways of minusing 4000 in their deck. So definitely watch out for that. But the reason that this card is in here, and definitely still in here as a 4, is because that inheritable effect, which is security attack +1, is super duper strong. It's really, really nice to be able to give your Shoutmon DX that security attack through a champion, because we have other ways to give it additional security checks through our ultimates too, and it means that sometimes you're able to get your Shoutmon DX on +2 security quite regularly, and it's doing at least 3 checks, which is super duper scary to be playing against, especially with a Shoutmon that has a lot of pressure, as we will look into further. Next up, we've got that 1 Digivolve cost blocker that I was talking about. This is Monochromon. Monochromon, I'm going with that. Monochromon, so it's a 6 play cost, which is higher than the 5 that we're used to in the starter deck, but the reason that is because it has that Digivolve cost of 1, which is just way better than the Digivolve cost of 2, and that may seem like a very small change, but like I said, it means that you have little plays, such as going on top of the Monodramon, like I mentioned there, and it not ending your turn if you already have the 3 memory, which you do if you have the Tamers out, and that can actually come in clutch at times, and being able to consistently go into a champion for the Digivolve cost of 1, again, allows you to further your plays, allows you to climb higher and make sure that you can get into your Shoutmon DX faster, and that's of course what we want to do. This game right now is get to your megas as fast as you can and try and dominate the board before your opponent can bounce back. So next up, and finishing off our champions, we're running a card that's been run in red a lot, which is Dark Tyranimon. So Dark Tyranimon is run for a very similar reason that the Monochromon is because it has that 1 Digivolve cost. We're running this for all of the same reasons that we're running the Monochromon, in that it can help us climb faster, and yeah, of course it doesn't have the positive that the Monochromon does with the blocker, and the when attacking lose to memory is not good for the blocker, so that doesn't have that. And an upside actually of this card is it has 6000 DP, meaning that it can swing into a blocker and trade in a lot of circumstances if your opponent's running the Digivolve 1 cost blockers because they have 5,000 DP instead of the 6,000 that we've seen in older sets and from trial decks. So very nice Dark Tyranimon, definitely running 4 of that. And overall, a very nice champion lineup. Speaking of nice lineups, here's one of my other favourite cards. I just absolutely am adoring the Shoutmons, and here's one that I'm loving even more, and kind of explains a lot why I actually really enjoy the rookie Shoutmon. Omni Shoutmon is an ultimate that we're running in this deck because it is just super strong, especially in this deck. It is an 8-play cost with a Digivolve cost of 3. It has a DP power of 7,000, and the effect of your Shoutmon can Digivolve into this card in your hand for a memory cost of 4, ignoring this card's Digivolution requirements, and then it has a really nice inheritable of this Digimon. If this Digimon has advance, it gains security attack +1. Now this works again in tandem with that Greymon, which gives an additional security check and means that you're actually able to give your Shoutmon DX plus the 2 security checks there, so that means that it's hitting to 3 as I mentioned earlier. But the main reason that this card is so good is because if you're playing your Shoutmon on turn 1 or turn 2, I tend to play the Shoutmon, then you can Digivolve directly into an Omni Shoutmon if you need to. If you're missing a champion, this is perfect because it just means that you don't have to be stuck behind waiting for your opponent to gain such an advantage by board. And the Omni Shoutmon really can come in clutch at times. Super duper nice. Next up, we have Volcanic Dramon.
Volcanic Dramon. Volcanic Dramon.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
And we're actually running 4 Volcanic Dramon in this, and this is because we want to consistently have an ultimate that's giving us security attack +1. So if you don't know what Volcanic Dramon is, it looks like a vanilla, but it has a 7 play cost, a Digivolve cost of 3, DP power of 7,000 like the Omni Shoutmon, which is just normal for an ultimate, but it has that inheritable effect of security attack +1 like the Greymon does, but in the ultimate form. Going into a Greymon and then into a Volcanic Dramon is just super scary for your opponent and can force them to have to deal with this if they need to. Well, obviously they're going to need to. It's going to force them to have to deal with this card, and that's just super terrifying at times. So yeah, we're definitely running 4 of this. Now some ultimates with the 2 Digivolve costs are still an option. They are still very nice, being able to climb into your Shoutmon fast enough, but we feel like the security plus from that you gain from this is just super terrifying to play against, and it's very consistent. Next up, taking a look at the card that I've talked about so much so far, it is Shoutmon DX. Now, the Shoutmon DX is super awesome, and it has a very new thing that I really want to point out on this. So it has a 13 play cost, which is normal. That's, well, I'd say normal. That's okay for a Mega. Please don't hard play it. That would be very stinky for you. It has 12,000 DP, as I mentioned earlier. So it means that you can swing at things if you have those inheritable powers, which is nice. But it has a Digivolve cost of 4 on top of a level 5, which is steep, but it also has a Digivolve cost of 2 on top of a level 6. So you can actually Digivolve this on top of the Shoutmon again if you wish to, or on top of another Mega that you run, and it means that you can get the effects of when Digivolving going off, which Shoutmon is based around. So speaking of those effects, Shoutmon has the when Digivolving effect of Advance. So this Digimon can attack when your opponent has 1 or more memory. Super duper nice, and just overall really does bits. Meaning that you can Digivolve into this if you are doing for the 4 and still attack with it to do those plus security checks that we're getting from inheritables. But also, and my favourite part about this card is it has that when Digivolving effect of, you may place 1 red Digimon card from your hand at the top of this Digimon's Digivolution cards, and then for each Omni Shoutmon or Sieg Greymon in this Digimon Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 DP or less. Now this is super nice because, as I mentioned earlier, the blockers that are currently ran in most formats are 5k. Being able to remove one of your opponent's blockers by Digivolving into your Mega, which you want to be doing anyway, just is super scary, and just removing it. But alongside this too, when you Digivolve on top of Shoutmon with Shoutmon, it means that you're able to put any red card into the stack, so you can put even more volcanic Jimons, even more inheritables to gain power, or even more inheritables to gain just like this security check from the volcanic Jimon is just terrifying. But being able to also gain that when digivolving effect of both of them going off at the same time too, which is scary. And the reason why that effect of being able to add a red card into your stack is super scary is because of the next mega that we're running, which is Zeeg Greymon. So Zeeg Greymon is just super fantastic for this deck, and it really draws it all in together. This deck without Zeeg Greymon would just be a bad ancient Greymon, was how I would pronounce it really. So Zeeg Greymon is a 12 play cost with a Digivolve cost of 3 on top of a level 5. There's 11,000 DP, which is obviously like low for megas right now where we're currently at in the game. But it has the when digivolving effect of advance, like Shoutmon does, which is this Digimon can attack even when your opponent has 1 memory. But the reason this card is super duper fantastic is because it has an inheritable that states, during your turn, when this Digimon attacks with advance, it can also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. Now that brings an element of control to red that we haven't actually seen before. This is more of a green effect that we're able to get on top of the Shoutmon. Now alongside Shoutmon's effect to be able to remove 5k cards, so you swing with the Shoutmon, and so you digivolve your Shoutmon, be able to put a Zeeg Greymon into the stack, and then you get the Shoutmon effect to get rid of some of the level 5 DP or less Digimon, and then you can attack one of your opponent's stud units. And this is why power is so important in this deck, because for example, if your opponent has a stud mega, most of the time you're going to be high enough to be able to swing over it and just really put your opponent behind. And because you can use Shoutmon's effect to digivolve back into itself, if your opponent plays some cards to try and like catch back up, you can re-digivolve back into Shoutmon, and then you're in such a far advantage that you can start to look at playing even more cards, going even wider, and just really punishing your opponent for trying to play the game. Speaking of punishing your opponent, here is a fantastic card, and it is the new Omnimon that we have been given in BT5. Now obviously we've been giving a lot of Omnimons in the form of X-Antibody, Omnimon itself, Svort Defeat, thousands more, but also this Omnimon is just super duper nice in both blue and red, which is great because that's the colours that it works for. So it has a play cost of 15, which please do not do. It has a DP power of 14, which as I mentioned earlier is lower than what we're used to for Omnimon, because we're used to a 15k base on an Omnimon. So 14, it is important because if you can get to 15k DP in this deck, it means that you're not too terrified to swing into security because you're higher than this Omnimon, which is played a lot. But it's really nice because it has the when digivolving effect of Blitz, which is just advanced, but basically a different keyword, which is that this Digimon can attack when your opponent has 1 or more memory, which, yeah, it's super duper cool. It's literally just the same thing, so that's nice. But why it's so good too is because it has the when digivolving effect of unsuspend this Digimon. So you're able to actually swing with your Shoutmon for a heck of a lot of security, and then go into an Omnimon which restands and it checks again. And a lot of the time, this is actually your finisher, because it means that you're doing all of that security checks with the Shoutmon, and then you're swinging with the Omnimon anyway. What's super scary is because of how this deck works, building up loads of recovery, like not even loads, building some recovery back up once you've been Shoutmoned doesn't particularly do much, because you just swing with the Shoutmon again, remove all of that, and then finish the game with Omnimon, and bada bing bada boom, you're going on to game 2. So it also has the during all turns effect of, if an opponent's effect would delete this Digimon or return it to its owner's hand or deck, you may prevent it from leaving play by trashing a level 6 Digimon card in this card's Digivolution cards, which just really helps with survivability and means that if you can't finish the game when you go into Omnimon, or if you're just playing it for other reasons, that it has less of a chance of actually being removed, which is super duper nice. And try and deal with this, buddy. So next up, we're running some options cards in the form of a Delicate Plan. So you might have seen a Delicate Plan before. It is a 1-cost options card with the main effect of, one of your Digimon gains this Digimon doesn't activate the security effects of any cards it checks for the turn. This means that it can stop Tamers, options cards, and that's very crucial when we're swinging with a Shoutmon DX that has plus security checks. It means that it's got less chance of being removed from an options card, and this also means that it has a better chance of playing against the security deck, which is definitely going to come up. Definitely be prepared for that. But also it has that security effect of add this card to your hand, which means that if a Delicate Plan shows up somewhere, you're definitely going to get it, whether that's draw or from your security, which is super nice. Next up, looking at our Tamers, we are running to Tyranimon. So Tyranimon is the 4-cost tamer, memory tamer that red is used to running. It has the start of your turn effect of, if you have 2 or less memory, you can set your memory to 3, and then during your turn effect of, all of your red Digimon with 4 or more Digivolution cards gain security attack +1. This is super duper nice for our Shoutmon DX because it means that not only is it gaining the +2 security from the likes of our Volcanictramon and our Greymon, but it means that it's gaining an additional one from the Tai, checking for security, and then if you Omnimon, you're doing 5 security checks in a single turn, which seems super duper ridiculous. But speaking of Omnimon, one thing to watch out for is that Omnimon is of course a white card, so it won't actually gain that security check, so watch out for that. But speaking of security checks for Omnimon, we are actually running the other Tai Kamiya, but it's Tai and Matt this time. So this is also a 4-cost tamer. With the start of your turn effect of, if your opponent has a level 6 or higher Digimon in play, you gain 2 memory. And then during your turn effect of, all your Digimon with Omnimon in their names gain security check +1. Now this can consistently make sure that your Omnimon is putting your opponent to 0 security checks because you can swing with your Shoutmon for 3, go into an Omnimon and check 2 securities there, leaving them on nothing and leaving them in a very bad situation of not being able to remove your Omnimon, so they're going to have to play something to get around that. And all of these all have the effect of security. You can play this card without paying its memory cost, which is pretty darn nice. But yeah, that is our Shoutmon DX deck profile. Let us know in the comments below what your favorite deck profile is. Well, your favorite deck is going to be of set 5. And just before you leave, here's a message from our sponsors.
Crit Hit Game Hub is the largest gaming store in Liverpool and stocks all things games. From card games to D&D to Warhammer, whatever game you play, they have a place for you. Also, using our codes CritHitDigiTeam, you can also get 10% off your order.